Well, welcome to episode 7 of Ralph's Stuff. Tonight we have Ham Radio 1970, which is a video created from a film I actually shot in, you guessed it, 1970, Driving Across Western Icefall. Now that's always an adventure and you get to go along for the ride. And Son of Fish Tank, a revisit to my herd of fish. Howdy folks, Ralph Roberts here and welcome to episode 7 of Ralph's Stuff. Got a good show tonight. One of the reasons I'm wearing a Western hat is we're taking a tour through Western Icefall, which is always an adventurous trip. And we'll be looking at my herd of fish again. To begin the show, I have a film clip that I actually filmed in 1970 when I was at North Carolina State University. So that's a real blast from the past. Recently had it converted from film to video and it came out quite well. This Western hat, by the way, is being worn for a couple of reasons. We told you about Western Icefall, but also it's to promote my other show, which is Tex Ralph's Westerns, on every Saturday night at 8 p.m. And we hope y'all will come and take a look at it. I'm standing here in front of my barn. That's yet another reason to wear the hat. We have a farm out here in western Buncombe County. Again, a Western connection. And we've always enjoyed the farm and the farm life, and we're just grateful that we're close enough to Icefall, about 5 miles away actually, to have all the conveniences of city life without all the hassles. The farm I'm on has been a farm here for well over 100 years. The house I live in was built originally in 1915, although we've added to it over the years. And most of the barns are from that era also, which means they're getting a bit dilapidated now. We don't farm here anymore. We have a publishing company and we raise books instead of cows. But some of the books we raise, you need to herd them just like those crazy cows also. So it's, again, yet another reason to wear a Western hat. As if I needed any reason at all. So we're looking forward to giving you a good show and bringing you additional shows in the future that I think you'll enjoy. Again, don't forget Tex Ralph's Westerns, 8 p.m. on Saturday nights. This video was made from a Super 8 film shot in 1970 in my dorm room at North Carolina State University, Raleigh, North Carolina. That's a friend of mine, but the radio belongs to me. It's a ham radio. I was then and still am WA4NUO. The antenna there is a joke. I actually had an outside antenna run from the window of my 4th-story dorm room down to the one of the back fences, and no one ever noticed it. Of course, it was against dorm rules to have a radio transmitting station in your room, but I had just returned from Vietnam, so minor things like that didn't bother me. However, I did have permission from the American Radio Relay League, as well as, more importantly, the Federal Communications Commission. I was licensed properly. At that time, I was WA4NUO, and still am, amateur radio call letters. I bought this transceiver, very powerful, in Japan, with some of the other equipment I had in the room. And I used it for several years and talked to people all over the world, literally, with it. And now we get to see me at 24 years of age operating the radio. I no longer have the transceiver, but the Morse code device there that I'm using, called an automatic key or bug, I still have. I could probably send Morse code if I had to, but it's somewhat, gosh, I wish I was that thin again. It was a very nice transceiver. There's another friend of mine. The camera belonged to me. I also bought it in Vietnam. You can buy some really nice equipment at the PXs there for very little cost. This was our favorite game in an empty dorm room that was in our suite. It consists of a tennis ball and a trash basket. I forget what we called it, but we played it a lot and had a lot of fun. That was me blocking. I was pretty good at the game. I was young and feist then. Now I'm just feist. So this has been a look at Yesteryear, a historical film shot on location in Raleigh, North Carolina in the year 1970. I hope you've enjoyed it. I just recently found it. It was quite amusing to look back on those days. Thank you. The rig I bought recently to mount my high-definition camera in my car continues to fascinate me. I get some really unique video just by driving up and down the roads, the beautiful roads in our mountain area here. This particular trip that we filmed, and here we go, is from our home out near Irwin High School through the western part of Asheville to Brevard Road. Okay, we're moving up Macedonia Road now toward Jenkins Valley Road. And here we go. And this is the intersection of Macedonia and Jenkins Valley. This is called the West Buncombe section, actually in the Lester Township. They're trying to incorporate Lester as a city to stop Asheville from trying to zone us, and we certainly hope something like that comes to fruition. But if you look at the beautiful scenery, get out of the way, dog. The beautiful scenery out here. This is why we live here instead of in Asheville. Although we're only about 5 miles from downtown Asheville, so it's still convenient when we do need to go to the city for something. We try to make that as infrequent as possible. This was filmed on the Sunday that we filmed the drive on the Parkway that's already been shown here on URTV. So this might be considered a prequel leading up to the sequels of the up and down drive on the Parkway. Leaves really just starting to change at this altitude. Of course, up on the Parkway it was closer to height of color. It was really beautiful. This is the intersection of Jenkins Valley and Old Number 20. There's no new Number 20. That's the actual name of the road is Old Number 20. Old Number 20. Having grown up in this area, I remember when both Jenkins Valley and Old Number 20 were just dirt roads. I can remember when the new Lester Highway was a dirt road. And that's not really that long ago. It was in the 1950s. It's a bird without early 50s anyway. It's a trembling hand with no one to hold on to. And we're coming up on the intersection with the old Lester Highway, the one that the new Lester Highway replaced, and it's a 2-lane road. This is the closest stoplight to our home, and they really needed one in this intersection. We were actually glad to see that occur.
That's how I feel alone.
We're in our minivan, the camera mounted on the right side passenger's front passenger window, and shooting out through the windshield. I cleaned the windshield before we left, so it's not too bad. It's a little reflection. I've since bought a polarizing lens, which will reduce some of the reflection and glare when we film from the car.
It's a child's laughter lost within the forest.
I should have mentioned the name of the road changed from Old Number 20 to Mount Carmel Road when we went across the intersection. That's Mount Carmel Church on the right. That's our home church. I must admit we didn't attend today because we were going up on the parkway.
That's how I feel without you. That's how I feel alone. My door will still be open, so use the moon to find your way home.
We love living out here. It's much better than living in a town. Excuse me. Towns are for city folk.
It's a blue October sky with not a soul to spy. An eagle high above a quilt of color.
Over on the left, although you can't see it here, is Irwin Middle School. When I was going to high school back in the early 60s, that was the high school. We didn't have such niceties as middle schools. You went directly from elementary to high school. So the 9th through the 12th grades were all in high school. Of course, now we have a big new high school in addition to the middle school. This is the intersection with the new Lester Highway, which of course out through here now is 4-laned. And we're waiting on the red light, and now it's a green light. And away we go. And we're now officially on the new Lester Highway. Some of us, especially when I was growing up, called Lester Leicester. A lot of newcomers actually mispronounce it that way too, or they call it Leicester or something. But Lester is the correct pronunciation and derives from Leicester in England and has the old Elizabethan English pronunciation. Up here in the mountains, we had a lot of remnants of Elizabethan English left, and some of the folk songs like Barbary Allen and things like that also. Now we're becoming more cosmopolitan and losing some of the uniqueness of our language and culture, unfortunately, in some of our opinions, but progress progresses. Beautiful day, and even the few clouds in the sky that we're seeing down here more or less went away by the time we got up on the parkway. This is the way we normally go into town, although it's the same distance if we go up the river on Riverside Drive, but of course having a 4-lane drive is much better than the 2-lane down there. So it's a little quicker go this way for us. And we're starting to get a number of amenities out here, various drugstores and grocery stores and fast food joints and the like. There are advantages and disadvantages to civilization. I do have some sympathy for Daniel Boone's observation many years ago that if you can see the smoke of your neighbor's fire, it's time to move. And he certainly did, going from North Carolina to Tennessee to Kentucky to finally to Missouri when he died in his 80s. And we're, by the way, within the city limits of Asheville, at least the extra ETJ, the extra territorial jurisdiction. Don't ask me what I think of that. Oh, we're making a pit stop. And looking over the fuel gauge, I saw that we were running on empty. Not good to go on the parkway if you're out of gas. Although it is downhill most of the way back. Still, that's not the way to do it. Okay, so we're all gassed up now, and we're coming up on Patton Avenue West, which is 19-23, and becomes, and 74 alternate, I think, also. But we've always just called it Patton Avenue here, and Smoky Park Highway a little farther out. But we're going to be turning left and going in toward Asheville because we're going to take a shortcut through West Asheville. And here we go. We're now on Patton Avenue. This is where all the high school kids come to cruise. When I was in high school, back in the 60s, we cruised Tunnel Road. There wasn't hardly anything out here on Patton Avenue at that time. It's since grown and developed quite a bit. Okay, we're going to take a ride here onto Louisiana Avenue, which is a nice shortcut up to Haywood Road. And from Haywood Road, we can get on Brevard Road. To our right is the Army Reserve Building, the one that's causing so much controversy now. I personally am in favor of going back to the $1 for every 50-year rental. Support our troops. Instead of charging them the $112,000 a year or so that the city wants to soak them for. So that's my opinion on that. And we're going on up Louisiana Avenue toward Haywood Road. This part of West Asheville is very nice looking, actually, peaceful. And getting out on Haywood Road itself is getting a little overdeveloped. Lots of new little shops and stuff coming in. And now we're getting ready to turn onto Brevard Road, which is a nice shortcut across Asheville. There's really no good ways to get across Asheville north to south. Of course, we have the expressway east to west, but we really need, and I know this will cause controversy, we really need a 4-lane expressway north to south through Asheville. Or maybe a 6-lane, I don't know. But that doesn't go very well with the anti-development force people. Now, Brevard Road here at the upper end is very beautiful also. If I had to live in a city, I'd want to live on a nice street like this. Thank goodness I don't have to live in town. Stay out on the farm. And we're making good progress. The reason we're going this way, of course, is to so we can access the parkway off of Brevard Road. And again, those who have seen their Parkway Drive video, we drove from Brevard Road on the parkway up to Richland Balsam, the highest point on the parkway, that 6,092 feet, I believe, and back down again, which was a beautiful drive. Very nice weather for it. Okay, we're crossing over I-240 now. National Guard Armory was off to our right. I served in the National Guard here after I did my regular tour of duty. I was a Vietnam veteran, so came back and served in the Military Police Battalion headquarters that we have here in our National Guard Armory. Very proud of that service. The National Guard is doing a fantastic job. And now we're approaching the bridge over I-40, and the farmers market will be off to our left. If you haven't visited the farmers market yet, it's it's very interesting. Got some great produce down there by, as we used to call around here, a paper sack of tomatoes. Light screen, and we're moving along. Now we're actually crossing I-40 at this very moment. And very shortly here, Brevard Road will go back to 2-lane. You'll see the West Asheville the main mail sorting facility over on the right, coming up right now where the American flag's flying. If you ever need to get a letter out late, that's the place to take it, because they accept mail a lot later than the branch post offices do. I used to be quite good, especially in the many years where I made my living as a freelance writer, of getting there just on time to in the evenings to get, oops, there's a little zoom. But I used to be good at getting to the post office just on time to get my manuscripts out on and make deadline. The sky is blue. This is a pretty decent camera. It has real good color reproduction. Since it's a high definition camera and this is a standard definition broadcast, there's some fingerprints on the window. Anyway, you really miss a lot of the true definition of the picture. On my monitor here, it looks fantastic. You see a lot more detail than by the time it's crunched down to be broadcast. But technology is changing, and before too much longer we'll actually have, I hope, high definition broadcasts more prevalent on cable and satellite. I actually have high definition satellite reception, but there's only a few channels on. They really look good though. Okay, we're going across I-26. One of the shopping malls off to the left. This is an area I think that's going to be like probably the next tunnel road in Patton Avenue and in Hendersonville Road in expansion. There's a lot of things being built new here as it is. And we're coming up on the Sardis Road intersection. You can turn right on Sardis Road and go to Inca, but we're not going to do that. Going on across. Actually, we're stopping to pick up a friend of ours here on Brevard Road, and he's going with us to film the leaves. He has his own high definition camera. So we got quite a bit of good footage on that trip. Now we're starting to get back out of the city. And moving on down Brevard Road. Okay, so we're going to get ready and go up on the parkway now. I hope you've enjoyed the ride through Western Asheville. The light's green for looking at leaves on the parkway. In the first episode of Ralph Stuff, I showed you our fish tank here on the farm. And since URTV shows their fish tank so much, well, the little bowl with the fish in it, I thought we'd revisit mine. Actually, what I'm testing is a polarizing filter on my camera lens so we can actually see down into the water without a lot of reflections getting in the way. And it's working very well, except that the fish have stirred up the algae so that there's a lot of trash floating in the water right now. Normally it's pretty clear, but for the purposes of this test I really didn't I really didn't care. And then of course later I decided to use it, and I wish I had waited until it was clear. The fish live in the tank year-round. The temperature of the water stays constant because it's fed by spring, so it never freezes over. And as you can see, there's lots of algae in there for them to eat. That's the overflow pipe. Go to ralphwroberts.com to see this show again.